Welcome, everyone. Today, we are going to talk about something that affects every single person alive, something that quietly shapes your entire life every single day. We are going to talk about time, but not in the way you might expect. Most people believe that time is something they do not have enough of. They say things like, I am too busy. I do not have time for that. Maybe someday I will start. But here's the truth that most people never realize. Every single person on this planet has the exact same 24 hours in a day. The most successful people you admire, the most disciplined athletes you watch, the most creative thinkers who inspire you, they all have 24 hours, the same as you, the same as everyone. So the real question is not how much time you have. The real question is, what are you doing with the time you already have? And when you look honestly at this question, the answer can be uncomfortable because most people are not really managing their time. They're simply reacting to it. They wake up without direction, they move through the day without intention, they reach the end of the week feeling busy but not productive, feeling tired but not accomplished, feeling like time is passing but life is not moving forward. This feeling has a name. It is called time poverty, and millions of people live inside it every single day. But today, everything changes. In this video, we are going to explore the most powerful lessons about mastering your time. These are not complicated theories. These are practical, life-changing habits that, when practiced consistently, will completely transform how you live. And while you're learning these powerful ideas, you are also strengthening your English naturally, because real learning happens when your mind is engaged with meaningful content. So stay until the end, because the final lessons will show you how to turn your wasted hours into the foundation of a powerful, purposeful life. If this kind of content helps you grow, make sure to subscribe and join thousands of people who are choosing to improve every single day. Lesson 1. Understand the real value of time. Before you can master time, you must first understand what time truly is. Most people treat time like it is an unlimited resource. They think, I will do it tomorrow. There is always next week. I will start when things calm down. But here's a truth that will change your perspective forever. Time is the only resource in your life that you can never get back. Think about that carefully. If you lose money, you can earn it again. If you lose a job, you can find another one. If you lose your health, sometimes you can recover it. But if you lose time, that moment is gone forever. The hour you spent scrolling aimlessly through social media will never return. The morning you wasted in unnecessary worry is a morning that disappeared permanently. This is why understanding the true value of time is the very first step toward mastering it. Think of time like a currency. Every morning when you wake up, you receive exactly 86,400 seconds as a deposit in your life's account. But unlike a bank account, there is one very important rule. Whatever you do not use wisely today disappears at midnight. It doesn't carry over, it doesn't accumulate, it simply vanishes. And tomorrow, you receive another 86,400 seconds. But yesterday's wasted seconds are gone forever. When you truly internalize this idea, your relationship with time begins to change. You stop treating your mornings carelessly. You stop allowing hours to disappear without purpose. You begin asking a different kind of question. Not, how do I kill time, but how do I use this time to build the life I want? This shift in thinking is the foundation of everything, because before you change your habits, you must first change the way you see time. Time is not your enemy. Time is not running out on you. Time is the most generous gift you receive every single morning. The question is simply, Are you using it well? Lesson 2. The danger of invisible time. Here is something that will surprise many people. Most people do not waste time deliberately. They do not wake up in the morning and say, "Today I will waste 6 hours." Time disappears invisibly. It vanishes quietly, in small pieces, without you even noticing. Let me paint you a picture that many people will recognize. You wake up in the morning. Before getting out of bed, you pick up your phone. You check messages, you scroll through social media, you watch a few short videos, and suddenly 45 minutes have passed. You eat breakfast while watching more videos, another 30 minutes gone. You sit down to do important work, but first, you check your phone one more time. Then another notification appears, then another. Hours pass, and by the evening, you feel like you did nothing meaningful all day. But you were never sitting still. You were always doing something. This is invisible time waste. The hours that disappear not because you chose to rest, but because you allowed your attention to be scattered in 100 different directions. Research shows that the average person spends more than 3 to 4 hours every day on their phone. That is more than 1,400 hours every year. That is nearly 60 full days. Imagine what you could build, learn, or create with 60 extra days every year. You could learn a new language. You could build a new skill. You could write a book. You could transform your body. You could launch a project that changes your life. But instead, for most people, those 60 days disappear into screens, distractions, and meaningless consumption. The first step to stopping invisible time waste is becoming aware of it. For just 1 week, track honestly how you spend your time. When you wake up, notice where your first hour goes. During the day, notice how often your attention is interrupted. In the evening, ask yourself honestly, what did I actually accomplish today? When you start tracking your time honestly, you will discover something that changes everything. You have far more time than you thought. You were simply not aware of where it was going. And awareness, as we know, is always the first step toward change. Lesson 3. The power of the morning. One of the most powerful decisions you can make for your life is deciding how your morning begins. Think about this carefully. The way you begin your morning sets the mental, emotional, and physical tone for everything that follows. A morning filled with purpose, focus, and intention creates a day filled with purpose, focus, and intention. But a morning filled with distraction, stress, and chaos creates a day filled with distraction, stress, and chaos. This is not a theory. This is something you can test in your own life. Think about the mornings when you woke up feeling clear and ready. You had a good breakfast, you moved your body, you prepared your mind. And when challenges appeared during that day, you handled them with calm and clarity. Now, think about the mornings when you woke up late, rushed through everything, started your day on your phone, and felt scattered before the day even began. Those days were different, weren't they? The morning is the most powerful part of your day because it is the window of time before the world starts demanding things from you, before messages arrive, before problems appear, before other people's priorities begin filling your attention. That early morning time belongs entirely to you, and what you do with it will determine the quality of everything that follows. Powerful people across history have understood this. They protect their mornings fiercely. You do not need a complicated morning routine. You simply need 3 things. First, move your body. Even 10 minutes of walking, stretching, or exercise wakes up your brain and fills your body with energy. Second, feed your mind. Read something meaningful, listen to something educational, or spend a few moments reflecting on your goals. Third, set a clear intention. Ask yourself one simple question every morning. What is the most important thing I must accomplish today? When you answer that question before the day begins, your mind has a direction. And a mind with direction is a mind that uses time wisely. The morning is your opportunity to own your day before the day owns you. Use it with purpose and watch how your entire life begins to change. Lesson 4. The one priority rule. Here is a problem that almost every person faces. Too many tasks, too little focus. People wake up in the morning with a list of 20 things to do. They run from one task to another. They feel constantly busy. But at the end of the day, they feel like nothing truly important was completed. This is the trap of busyness. Busyness feels like productivity, but real productivity is not about how many things you do. Real productivity is about how effectively you complete the things that truly matter. And here is the truth that most productivity experts agree on. In any given day, there is usually only one, sometimes two, tasks that, if completed, would create the most meaningful progress in your life. That is your priority. Everything else is secondary. The problem is that most people treat every task with equal importance. They spend equal energy on small, unimportant tasks as they do on life-changing ones. The one priority rule is simple. Every morning, before you begin anything, identify the single most important task of your day. The one task that, if completed, would make you feel that the day was truly successful. Then, protect that task fiercely. Do it first. Do it before checking messages, before opening social media, before getting pulled into other people's urgencies. Because your most important task deserves your sharpest mind, and your sharpest mind exists in the early hours before distractions arrive. Think about it this way. Imagine you have a large jar, and you have big rocks, small stones, and sand to put inside. If you fill the jar with sand and small stones first, the big rocks will never fit. But if you place the big rocks first, the smaller stones and sand naturally fill the spaces around them. Your time works exactly the same way. If you fill your day with small, unimportant tasks first, you'll never have space for the big, meaningful work. But if you do the most important work first, everything else finds its place. Practice the one priority rule every single day, and over time, you will discover that real progress is not made by doing more. Real progress is made by doing what truly matters, consistently and without distraction. Lesson 5. Learn to say no. One of the most underrated time management skills in the world is the ability to say no. Many people struggle with time not because they are lazy, but because they say yes to too many things. They say yes to every request. They say yes to every invitation. They say yes to every distraction that appears before them. And because they cannot say no, their time slowly gets distributed among other people's priorities, other people's needs, and other people's goals. Meanwhile, their own goals remain sitting quietly in the background, waiting for a day that never arrives. Here is something powerful that you must understand. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you are saying no to something important. Your time is finite. Every hour given to one thing is an hour taken away from something else. This means that saying no is not a negative act. Saying no is an act of respect for your own goals, your own time, and your own future. Learning to say no does not mean becoming cold or selfish. It means becoming intentional. For example, if someone asks you to spend 3 hours watching television when you have an important goal to work toward, saying no to the television is saying yes to your future. If someone invites you into a conversation that drains your energy and wastes your focus, saying no to that conversation is saying yes to your peace of mind and your productivity. The most successful people in the world are very careful about what they say yes to. They understand that their time is their most precious resource, and they protect it accordingly. Start practicing the simple habit of pausing before agreeing to anything. Before saying yes, ask yourself one question. Does this serve my goals and my growth, or is it simply filling time? If the answer is no, give yourself permission to decline. gracefully but firmly. Because every no you say to distraction is a yes you give to your purpose. And your purpose is what transforms time into a meaningful life. Lesson 6. The power of deep work. In today's world, most people are experts at one particular skill, the skill of being constantly busy but never deeply focused. They check messages every few minutes, they multitask between different projects, they jump between tasks without ever giving any single thing their full attention. And because of this, they live their entire lives working at the surface level. They never go deep. But deep work, the ability to focus without distraction on a cognitively demanding task, is one of the rarest and most valuable skills in the modern world. Think about what happens when you give a task your complete, undivided attention. Your brain enters a state of full engagement. Your thinking becomes clearer and faster. Your creativity increases dramatically. You begin making connections that you never see when your attention is scattered. Deep work produces results that simply cannot be achieved through distracted surface-level effort. For example, imagine two people working on the same project. The first person works for 3 hours but checks their phone every 10 minutes, responds to every message that arrives, and constantly switches between the project and other tasks. The second person works for just 90 minutes, but with the phone away, all notifications off, and complete undivided focus on the single task. Who do you think produces better, more meaningful work? The answer is obvious. 90 minutes of deep work will almost always produce better results than 3 hours of distracted effort. This is the power of deep work. Not more hours, better hours. To practice deep work, you need to create conditions for focus. Choose a specific time each day dedicated to your most important task. Remove all distractions during that time. Put your phone in another room. Close unnecessary browser tabs. Tell people around you that you need uninterrupted time. Start with just 1 hour of deep work each day. Then slowly extend it as your focus muscle becomes stronger. Over time, this practice will produce results that most people spend entire years trying to achieve through distracted effort. Deep work is not just a productivity strategy. Deep work is how extraordinary things get built. And it begins with your decision to protect your attention like the valuable resource it truly is. Lesson 9. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. One of the most common and most dangerous ways people waste time is waiting. They wait for the right moment to start. They wait until they feel ready. They wait until the circumstances are better. They wait until they have more knowledge, more money, more confidence. But while they are waiting, weeks become months, months become years, and the life they imagined never arrives. Here is a powerful truth that you need to hear. The perfect moment will never come. There will always be a reason to wait. There will always be something that feels incomplete. There will always be uncertainty ahead. But the people who build extraordinary lives do not wait for perfect conditions. They start with the conditions they have, and they improve as they go. Think about every meaningful thing you have ever accomplished in your life. Did you start it when conditions were perfect? Probably not. You started, and then things gradually improved as you moved forward. The act of starting is itself the catalyst for change. When you begin, your mind activates. When you begin, opportunities appear. When you begin, skills develop. When you begin, confidence grows. But none of this happens while you are waiting. Many people also carry a false belief that taking the first step requires a large amount of motivation or courage. But in reality, the smallest possible first step is all that is needed. If you want to start exercising, you do not need to run 5 kilometers day 1. You simply need to put on your shoes and walk outside. If you want to start learning a new skill, you do not need to enroll in a course immediately. You simply need to read 1 article today. If you want to build something meaningful, you do not need to have the entire plan ready. You simply need to take the single next step that is visible right now. Action creates momentum, and momentum is what transforms a single small step into a complete and powerful journey. The time you spend waiting is time you are borrowing against your own future. Stop waiting. Start now, because now, this very moment, is the only perfect moment that will ever exist. Lesson 8. The weekly review habit. Most people live their lives going from day to day without ever stopping to evaluate whether they are actually moving in the right direction. They are busy, they are working, they are moving, but they never pause to ask the most important question: am I making progress on the things that truly matter? This is where the weekly review habit becomes incredibly powerful. Once a week, ideally at the same time every week, sit down quietly with your journal or a simple notebook and ask yourself a series of honest, reflective questions. First, what did I accomplish this week? Not what you tried to do, not what you planned to do. What did you actually complete? Second, where did I waste time this week? Be honest with yourself. Where did hours disappear? Which habits pulled you away from your goals? Third, what is the most important priority for next week? What single thing, if accomplished, would make next week a genuine success? And fourth, what will I do differently? This is the question that drives real growth, because the person who reflects on their mistakes and adjusts their approach will always grow faster than the person who simply repeats the same patterns week after week. The weekly review creates something incredibly valuable. It creates self-awareness about your time. Without reflection, it is easy to spend months feeling busy without making meaningful progress. But with a weekly review, you stay connected to what truly matters. You catch time-wasting patterns early. You make adjustments before small problems become larger ones. Think of it this way. A pilot does not simply point the plane in a direction and never adjust the course. Small corrections are made constantly throughout the journey to ensure the plane arrives at the right destination. Your life works the same way. The weekly review is your navigation check. It keeps you honest, focused, and moving in the direction of your most important goals. Even 20 to 30 minutes of honest weekly reflection can completely change the trajectory of your life over time. Lesson 10. Energy management is time management. Here's something that most people overlook when they try to manage their time. Time management is not just about hours and calendars. Time management is also about energy. Because the truth is, not all hours are equal. An hour of work when you are fully energized, rested, and focused will produce far more results than 3 hours of work when you are exhausted, distracted, and mentally depleted. Think about your own experience. Have you ever sat down to do important work late at night when you were completely tired? You stared at the page for hours and produced almost nothing meaningful. But the next morning, after good sleep, you completed the same task in 30 minutes. Same task, same person, very different results. The only difference was energy. This is why managing your energy is just as important as managing your time. There are 4 main types of energy that determine your daily performance. Physical energy, which comes from sleep, nutrition, and movement. Mental energy, which comes from focus, clear thinking, and avoiding information overload. Emotional energy, which comes from positive relationships, gratitude, and inner peace. And purposeful energy, which comes from working toward goals that genuinely matter to you. When all 4 types of energy are strong, your hours become incredibly productive. But when any one of these energies is depleted, your entire performance suffers. The most important energy foundation is sleep. Many people treat sleep as a luxury. They stay up late, sacrifice rest for productivity, and then wonder why they feel exhausted and unfocused. But the truth is simple and backed by extensive science. Sleep is not a break from productivity. Sleep is the foundation of productivity. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories, repairs itself, and prepares for peak performance. A rested brain thinks faster, solves problems better, and maintains focus longer. An exhausted brain struggles with basic decisions, forgets important information, and resists any form of deep work. Protecting your sleep is one of the most powerful time management strategies you can adopt. Beyond sleep, moving your body every day, even briefly, dramatically improves your mental energy. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain. It releases chemicals that improve focus, mood, and cognitive performance. Even a short 15-minute walk can transform how your brain operates for hours afterward. When you begin managing your energy intentionally, you stop wasting hours trying to force productivity from a depleted mind. Instead, you structure your days around your natural energy rhythms, and your time becomes extraordinarily more powerful. Lesson 11: The Trap of Comparison and How It Steals Your Time. One of the most invisible and destructive ways people waste their time is through comparison. Every day, millions of people open their phones and scroll through carefully curated images of other people's lives. They see success stories, they see achievements, they see beautiful homes, exciting travels, impressive accomplishments, and immediately their mind begins comparing. They're further ahead than me. I am not doing enough. Why is their life better? I will never reach that level. These thoughts feel real, they feel urgent, but they are one of the greatest time thieves that exist. Because while you are spending your mental energy comparing your life to others, you are not spending that energy building your own life. Comparison is like driving a car while constantly looking in the rearview mirror at what other cars are doing. You are moving, but your attention is in the wrong direction, and eventually you will crash. The truth about comparison is this: you are comparing your ordinary, behind-the-scenes reality with other people's highlight reel. You see their success, but you do not see their struggles. You see their achievements, but you do not see their failures. You see their best moments, but you do not see their worst ones. Every person you compare yourself to is fighting battles you know nothing about. The only comparison that is truly useful is this: am I better today than I was yesterday? Am I learning more than I was last month? Am I growing in the direction of my own goals? This comparison with your previous self creates motivation without toxic negativity. It drives progress without destroying confidence. And when you stop watching how others are using their time and start focusing entirely on how you are using yours, something remarkable happens. Your mental clarity increases, your stress decreases, your focus sharpens, and your time begins producing results that slowly make your own life worth comparing to. Lesson 12: The Art of Rest. Here's something that might surprise you. Resting is not the opposite of productivity. Resting is a part of productivity. Many people believe that working more hours equals achieving more results. They push themselves constantly. They sacrifice sleep, leisure, and recovery in the name of productivity. But this approach actually works against them. Think about professional athletes. They don't train 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their coaches understand something fundamental about performance. Rest is when growth happens. Recovery is when the body strengthens. The same principle applies to your mind. When you rest intentionally, your brain processes information, makes creative connections, and restores the mental resources needed for focused work. Many of the greatest ideas in history arrived not during intense work sessions, but during moments of quiet rest, during walks, during showers, during calm, unhurried moments when the mind was allowed to wander freely. This is not coincidence. When your conscious mind relaxes, your subconscious mind begins working at full power. And the subconscious mind is extraordinarily good at solving problems that conscious effort cannot crack. So rest is not laziness. Rest is strategic recovery. Build intentional rest into your daily routine. Schedule breaks during your work periods. Protect at least one day a week for genuine recovery, away from screens, away from obligations, away from the constant demands of productivity. And honor your sleep as the foundation of everything, because a rested mind manages time far better than an exhausted one. When you learn the art of rest, you stop running on empty. You begin moving through your days with energy, clarity, and the kind of focus that transforms ordinary hours into extraordinary results. Lesson 13. Your future self is watching. Here is a powerful perspective that can completely transform how you use your time. Imagine your future self, the person you will be 5 years from now. That person is watching every choice you make today. Every hour you invest in learning, that future version of you becomes more knowledgeable and capable. Every hour you invest in building skills, that future version of you becomes more confident and competent. Every hour you invest in your health, your relationships, and your purpose, that future version of you lives a richer and more fulfilling life. But every hour you waste in distraction, comparison, and meaningless consumption, that too shapes your future self. A future self that is no further ahead than you are today. A future self that looks back at all those wasted hours with regret. The choices you make with your time today are letters you are writing to your future self, and the life your future self lives will be the sum of those letters. This perspective creates something powerful inside the mind. It transforms the meaning of each individual moment. That 1 hour of focused work this evening, it is a gift you are giving your future self. That morning routine you protect so carefully, it is a foundation your future self will stand on. That book you choose to read instead of scrolling through your phone, it is wisdom your future self will use to solve problems you cannot even imagine yet. Every single moment matters, not in an overwhelming, pressure-filled way, but in a quiet, purposeful way that reminds you this moment is building something. Start making decisions with your future self in mind. Before you choose how to spend an hour, ask yourself simply, is this something my future self will thank me for, or is this something my future self will wish I had done differently? That question, asked consistently, can redirect years of wasted time into years of meaningful progress. Lesson 14. The discipline of consistency. The final and perhaps most important truth about mastering your time is this: consistency is more powerful than intensity. Many people start with extraordinary intensity. They wake up one morning full of energy and determination. They work for 12 hours. They exercise hard. They read for hours. They feel unstoppable. But then life happens. A difficult day arrives, motivation disappears, and everything stops. This pattern, extreme effort followed by complete abandonment, is one of the greatest obstacles to real progress. Because real progress is not built in one extraordinary day. Real progress is built in thousands of ordinary days where you show up consistently even when you don't feel like it. Think about a small river. A single rainstorm fills the riverbed temporarily, but the river that flows gently every day, day after day, year after year, that river carves canyons through solid rock. Your consistency is that gentle daily river, and over time, it creates results that no single burst of intensity can match. This is the secret that truly successful people understand. They don't rely on inspiration. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They simply show up every day and do the work. Some days the work is exciting and energizing. Other days it's boring and difficult, but they do it anyway because they understand that consistency is what builds everything worth having. You don't need to do something extraordinary every day. You simply need to do something meaningful every day. Read for 20 minutes. Practice your skill for 30 minutes. Work toward your goal for one focused hour. These small, consistent actions compound over time into results that seem magical to people who only see the final achievement, but not the thousands of ordinary days that built it. Start today with this simple commitment. I will do one meaningful thing every day toward the life I want to build. Not on perfect days only, every day, because time passes regardless of whether you use it or not. And the difference between the life you have and the life you want is simply what you did with the time in between. As we reach the end of this video, let's remember the most important truth about time. Time is not something that happens to you. Time is something you choose to direct or allow to slip away. Every habit we discussed today is a tool for taking back control of your hours, a tool for building a life that reflects what you truly value. Understand the real value of time and stop treating it as unlimited. Recognize invisible time waste and become aware of where your hours truly go. Protect your mornings and own your day before the world takes it. Use the one priority rule and give your most important work your best energy. Learn to say no and protect your time from other people's priorities. Practice deep work and discover what focused effort can truly build. Stop waiting for the perfect moment and start with what you have right now. Review your week and stay connected to what truly matters. Manage your energy because powerful hours require a powerful mind. Escape the trap of comparison and compete only with your previous self. Build systems and let daily habits carry you forward automatically. Master the art of rest and recover so that you can perform at your best. Think of your future self and make choices that person will thank you for. And above everything else, practice the discipline of consistency because ordinary effort repeated daily creates extraordinary results. Time is passing right now. The question is not whether time will pass. The question is, what will you build while it does? Start today, not tomorrow, not when things are perfect, today. Because every single day you choose intention over distraction, you are writing the story of a powerful life. And the most powerful chapter of that story begins right now. If this video helped you see your time differently, please subscribe for more powerful lessons. Because together, we're not just learning English, we're building minds that are capable of creating truly extraordinary lives. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.